Tarun, thank you very much for speaking to CNBC-TV18. You had a whole bunch of announcements at your community day that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Since we're standing behind the Rista, it's been one of the most successful launches you've had in recent times.
Yeah.
To start with, I mean, we're going to touch upon the community day announcements. What are some of the big product launches that are lined up next that, investors in your company, generally enthusiasts about bikes, should watch out for from Ather?
We just announced today that we think the future is going to be several products, and we've just announced this new platform, the EL platform, that will go soon too.
Yeah.
And on that platform, we think we can build a variety of different scooters. We just showed how a maxi can be, how a commuter can be, how a sports peppy scooter can be. We think there's a potential to build 3-4 different kind of more scooter products over the coming years.
Yeah.
Eventually, we also showcase a concept today, Redux. And I think that straddles that gap between scooters and motorcycles and bridges them beautifully.
Yeah.
While we don't have a launch date or any immediate commercialization plan for it, but that kind of at least expresses intent of where we think we can go. Motorcycles are there in the radar.
Yeah,
I'm preempting that.
Yeah.
Motorcycles are there in the radar. We do think this is now the time to go deep and invest in the R&D for that platform. Like how we've invested in the EL platform R&D, the new scooter platform R&D over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We think now is the time to invest in very deep motorcycle R&D. But I would say an actual product launch is at least 1, maybe still 2 years away.
Okay, 1 or 2 years away. But as Ather, you've projected yourself as this premium market player, so to speak, in the EV space. With Rista, some would call it a more mass market product.
Sure, love
now
it.
with the launch of your EL platform, which you say will be more cost effective for the company, should we expect a bit more push, strategic shift towards a more mass market segment?
It's possible, certainly. We announced a lot of things on EL today that lower the cost of the platform considerably. They lower the material cost, they lower the assembly cost, they lower the servicing cost. So overall, and we are also going to produce this out of a much larger integrated facility in Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, Aurangabad.
Yeah.
So all of that does help and create a situation where we can price our products more aggressively. Obviously, we're not announcing price today, and obviously we're not giving you a specific thing, but I will acknowledge that. Yeah, I think EL does give us the ability to price products more aggressively.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'll also say I don't think the market is for products below a lakh.
Okay.
I've never been a fan of it.
1 lakh is where you draw the line.
Yeah, I think today our entry portfolio with software is somewhere around 120 plus. So there is a gap between 120 and 100, and I think there are amazing experiences we can build for our consumers there. But for us, the Lakshman Rekha still is a lakh. Because I think going below that, we are just leaving money on the table, and we are not putting together enough price to build a good experience for the end consumer. We'll never put out something that we're not proud of.
Okay, so the new scooters, the range of scooters that do come out on the EL platform will not go below 1 lakh rupees.
Lakshman Rekha.
Okay, Lakshman Rekha, got that. The other big news recently that's from the Vahan data that we see, you've climbed up to the number 2 spot just after TVS and ahead of Ola, Bajaj, and Hero and the others. How confident are you of maintaining that kind of a lead, staying at that position, if not improving it further, especially given how some of your rivals do often resort to heavy discounting, something you haven't done much of, to boost sales and have other advantages as well?
So we have the opinion that margin is not our lever. We don't play on margin. We don't hence play on discounts.
Yeah.
What we win and lose on are our products and the experiences we build for the consumers.
Yeah.
We didn't discount 450 to win market share. We built Rista,
Yeah.
a product that is fundamentally lower cost and can target a larger market.
Yeah.
We will build EL as a product that is even better cost structure. We'll not just take Rista and discount it by 10-20,000 rupees to win market share.
Okay.
So that's how we've,
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how we've always gone about it. So I don't think discounting is something you should expect us to do seriously.
Okay.
For us, we look at markets from a more fundamental perspective. How many consumers are there who would see value in what Ather is building? And that's a pie that keeps expanding. And that's not because of what even we are doing, and that's because of how the country is getting richer. I spoke about it even today, that we believe India is going to keep premiumizing because per capita income is just going up. It's one of the most secular things to bet on in India. And as people get richer, they will buy more premium products.
Yeah.
We grew up in families where our parents had an Activa or a Splendor, amazing, successful two-wheelers, right? But now that we've grown up, we would want to buy something different.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, I get your point. You're not going to win the market on discounting and on pricing.
Yeah.
But talking about market share, coming back to that, you've gotten to number 2.
Yeah.
That's a place you think you can maintain with a wider lead?
I don't know. Somebody else could do something else. Honestly, it's not my business to predict what others should do. I think my business, it is my job to do to build great products, build them profitably, and keep scaling them. I can't tell you if in a quarter somebody else is going to discount, or in another quarter somebody else is going to shut down stores. What I can tell you is that there is a secular path where people buy more and more well-built products. We have a great roadmap for them, and we are not straying away. We're not suddenly switching and saying, you know what, let's just build this basic entry product that means nothing, but will give us some more volume.
Okay.
That's not who we are.
Sure, you're not doing that, but your stated objective, at least in the near term, is to get to that 20% share. You're still at about 17%.
I think tactically on that there are very good signs.
Yeah.
Every market that we've gone deep in and that we've focused, for example South, for example Gujarat, for example Northeast, Ather has become number one. And these are three very different markets if you think about it.
Yeah.
South India, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, very different from Gujarat, very different from Northeast. In fact, there are towns after towns in even North India. There is Kharagpur, there is, I think, Ludhiana, Amritsar, one of them.
No more South India only.
We're not, and that's what I'm saying. It is thanks to Rista. So our bet has been that good products can be built in any category. We will build them. We'll build fantastic experiences. Like we've gone a great lengths even with the EL01 here today to really build things that are not existing in the category today.
Sure.
We'll always do that.
So 20%?
And if you should not be I think it is in the horizon. I would say that because all these other markets we've crossed 20% and more. 23, 24, 25, 27%.
So overall, you think?
So I think as our distribution expands in the rest of the country, getting to 20% plus is something we can certainly chase now.
Okay.
Now that we have Rista.
You've shown us the EL01, which is going to be built on your new platform, which can build 3 kinds of scooters.
Yeah.
How soon will these be in the market, and what kind of cost efficiency will the new platform bring?
So fundamentally, the platform has a couple of cost advantages. It moves on the current platform products that we have, 450 and Rista, use largely in bolted aluminium frame, while this uses, as you can see in the pictures here, a unibody steel chassis, which is several times cheaper than a cast aluminium frame. You'll also notice that we don't have belt transmission here. This uses a different architecture, which is an enclosed gearbox, and that is obviously architecturally, you will see it on the other side, that architecturally is obviously cheaper than what we do today, without really compromising on anything that the consumer expects from a scooter. Finally, 15% fewer parts, lower assembly time, faster assembly. I think all that helps package a better cost structure for sure. But I'm not putting a number. I'm not putting a number.
If you could tell us, how much more cost efficiency could this bring?
No, I'm not putting out a number. It's also too early. I think we're finally reached a stage where we're happy showing off a concept. Ather would not want to show something that we don't believe has a path to commercialization, very imminent path to commercialization. This one does, but give us a few quarters.
How soon will this be in the market for customers to buy?
We would target about a year.
About a year.
About a year.
And this will be made at your Aurangabad facility. What will be the production capacity initially, and will the 450 and Rista also be manufactured from that plant?
No, 450 and Rista will continue to scale out of Hosur. I think Hosur is doing brilliantly well there. In fact, EL01 also might start rolling out of Hosur initially, depending on the exact commercialization, productionization time of Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. But eventually, EL products, all products in the future, will scale out of the Aurangabad facility. That's for sure.
Okay, got that. Since we're talking about manufacturing a lot, let me quickly address another issue that's dominated headlines is rare earth magnet scarcity. If from Bajaj, for instance, we recently heard the supply starting to improve. Is that something you're also starting to see on the ground?
Definitely. I think there has been a thaw in the relationship, and magnet supply has resumed. What, however, we got out of the entire crisis is that, at least in our case, we have now started moving away from heavy rare earths. We are moving to lighter rare earths and moving quite successfully. So in the coming months, we will anyways not continue to have any dependence on heavy rare earths. So should this crisis ever emerge, I think now businesses like ours would be far more resilient.
Okay, well, speaking of resiliency, and now that you're a publicly listed company, the next milestone investors are looking for is when you turn profitable. Is that looking any clearer with the kind of cost efficiency also you'll bring in with your new platform?
On the unit economic side, I do believe EL will play a pretty substantial role in the next 2 years in expanding margins because of its fundamental cost structures. And you will notice with this concept here, that lower cost is not coming at the expense of a poorly built vehicle or an entry-level vehicle. In fact, I think by almost all accounts, most people have called it more premium than almost everything else that we've done today. So I do believe EL will play a substantial role in expanding gross margins further.
Okay.
And operating leverage is anyways continuing to kick in because scale is going up.
Yeah.
We've already capacitized our R&D substantially. So we don't expect that to continue scaling up. So overall on the fixed cost side, we don't expect a substantial increase any longer.
Yeah.
But volumes are growing up really well. Like Vahan data will show that we have grown almost 100% over the last 1 year.
Yeah.
And we are still one of the smallest distributions in the country.
Yeah.
Ather is still 450 stores,
Yeah.
while almost every peer is several times larger today.
Yeah, yeah, true. But what you don't have is the PLI certification.
Yes.
You didn't qualify for that. That's one big benefit you're missing out on.
I think, and that's one feedback I keep bringing up for policymakers. A company like Ather, which has invested one of the highest in the world on R&D in electric two-wheelers, which has one of the largest teams out there, which is running the largest infrastructure. Literally, the Indian standard is the Ather standard, and is the number 2 player today, and has put out the highest capex. To not qualify for PLI means, I think we should really revisit if the definitions were ever startup friendly. In this case, the definition said if you're in the business of electric vehicles, you can't apply as a startup. And I think that was a big lacuna. Why can an existing startup not apply? So I still keep arguing that policies like this need a correction, because PLI is such a transformative policy, could be potentially such a transformative policy for industry. But for it to really pay off, you need to center them around startups, because all the disruption, all the push is coming from startups. If startups को इस equation में निकाल दोगे, तो who's pushing the industry?
Got it.
Like, honestly, imagine if we had PLI, we would be able to launch even lower cost products.
Yeah.
But we can't. We can't even compete in those categories today, because PLI essentially tells us stay out. Don't compete on low price products, because that's not for you. That's for discounted large players who don't want to build electric vehicles.
But anyway, you don't want to cross the 1 lakh rupee Lakshman Rekha to begin with.
Yeah, because I don't have PLI.
Because you don't have PLI. So if you got PLI, we would
Yeah,
see
no,
a
I'm just
lot
kidding.
cheaper.
No, I think I'll still rather actually get 1 lakh.
Okay, finally, since you say your Redux, which looks like a motorbike, but it's not a motorbike, it's a motor scooter. The launch of that is a few years away. The new scooter is 1 year away. Big things to look forward to in FY26. Whether that is margin improvement, any new launches, any.
You should expect to see, I think we've been doing a lot of work on gross margins. We've been doing a lot of work on quality. With Ather Stack, there's substantial work that's now happening in software. We've launched 2 new variants of Rista and 450 each, higher range variants. And ultimately, it's more stores. The story in FY26 for us is, simply put, expanding distribution. We are going to take this business from 200 stores to 400 stores and eventually 700 stores through the course of this year. And that's the biggest piece that anybody should track for us.
Expanding distribution is the theme, the big thing to look for in FY26 from Ather. Tarun, on that note, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we wish you the best with your launches.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to CNBC TV 18, and for more news and updates, follow us on all the social media platforms.